Hey everyone, it's Damon with Living in the OC. I'm here with Mom. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And we have a very, very special guest today. This is a fun story, and we've come all the way up to Beverly Hills, of all places,
Right?
to the agency to hang out with our buddy, and we're going to call him the Jesus of real estate. That's our
Yes.
big hook.
Yes, and we have to explain why. We need to go back. This is Wolfie. Normally it's just the two of us, or when I'm on vacation, it was Damon for a couple of weeks. But Wolfie goes back 30 years at least.
At least 33.
33 years.
Yeah.
He was my older son's fraternity brother
Yep.
at USC,
Sigma Chi. Yeah.
Sigma Chi, and Chandler majored in film, my older son, and he had to do a student film. And so he needed somebody to act in it, and Wolfie has done acting.
I've done some acting.
Yeah,
Yes.
A lot of acting, yeah.
Yes. So he had two of his fraternity brothers in a film
That's right.
called
Jesus Built My Hot Rod.
Jesus Built My Hot Rod.
And we were just talking about that. So you can find this in 2 clicks. I'm not even kidding. Go to the bottom of our page. You'll see under the stellar dudes, of course, I have my brother. His name's Chandler. Click on his page, and under his page is that student film that we're talking about.
Yes.
We were just putting the timing of it together. 1995 spring semester. I think
At USC.
Is
Yes.
when
Yes.
they filmed that thing. So you can see Wolfie playing in Jesus Built My Hot Rod. His hair was a little bit
Down
longer.
to his shoulders, and he was
Very long. I was 19
30-some
years
years younger.
No, 20 actually. It was 95. My goodness.
Right.
So
Right.
you were 20, all
Yeah.
of 20 in that.
But you will recognize him still. But his hair, you have to know his hair is down to here.
I'm not showing my freshman year when I had long hair. It's not happening.
Neither one, they
My
weren't
girlfriend at the
especially
time
cute.
wanted me to try to go for the Michael Hutchins in excess look.
There you go.
And I
That's a
looked
good
like
look.
a clown.
That's a good look.
I got so much you-know-what from my family about it. My grandfather was like,
He wouldn't even speak to
constantly-
you.
Yeah, I looked ridiculous.
But it's interesting how life evolves. Actually, I've shared with you that I went through a very big health challenge and scare, and so did Wolfie.
Yes.
And
I
it was
did.
almost at the same
time.
Same time,
Yeah.
and bumped into each other at a football game and had
That's
a
right.
chance to hug each other, and it's a scary thing.
It was scary. It was a scary time. It was an unknown, not knowing time, but we got through it.
We both got through
Yeah.
it. We're both okay.
We're both good now.
And here we are all these years later, and it's come full circle, and now he is here at the agency in Beverly Hills, and it's very much a high-end market, and we wanted to come here and share with you guys sort of the comparison of what's going on in Los Angeles and in that market with what we've been doing in the OC. Because we have worked with pre-foreclosure things, and incidentally, we did get that one unit in Laguna Woods that we were talking about. So I'm thinking maybe in the next week or two,
We're hoping to close escrow.
we will close escrow, and then we're going to do filming down there and show you what we do to renovate that, so that it will go onto the market and sell, quickly. So we thought we're going to come up here because it's a very, very different market. This is an agency which does very high-end, often cash deals, multi-million-dollar deals.
Well, it's a luxury market.
It's a luxury
We're in the
market.
heart of Beverly Hills.
But it has also been impacted by what's going on in the world. The buyers are changing. We have international buyers now in Orange County.
Let me just do a little side note really fast. We haven't talked about this. The show that they ran, Buying Beverly Hills, I think it was called.
Yeah,
Did they pick it up for another season?
Season 2, right? We just
Okay.
filmed the final episode last week.
Okay. Are you in it at all?
I'm in 2 episodes. The final episode and like some beach party thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I was giving John so much crap about it. Like, where's my boy Wolf?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what are you guys doing? You
Yeah.
have to have Wolf in season 2. Give me a break.
I think I look too much like Maurizio, so that's
Who's the owner of the
Who's the owner of the
agency?
agency.
Yeah.
Right, right. There's a whole wall here behind us of interior design, Forbes magazine, the Los Angeles Times, all the articles, the Rob report of all these amazing properties they have sold. But we're finding, one of the things that we're noticing in Orange County is that because of the interest rates right now, I heard yesterday that to get a loan, it's about 6.9%, which
Yeah.
is gonna double
On a
what your
30-year
payment
fixed.
would have been a couple of years ago.
At least
Probably,
double,
I'm
right?
imagining you have a lot of cash
A
buyers.
lot of international cash buyers, correct.
Okay, because who wants to pay 7% interest on a multi-million-dollar house? So it's a little bit of a twist, but so the ability to get a loan has gone down. And because of that, people that were house hopping and getting a little bit bigger house, and then maybe they had empty nest and they wanted to sell and go into a smaller house, are not doing it because they have a 3% loan.
Right, when your loan is half of what they're offering now.
It's
what's
almost
the
as
incentive
valuable
to-
as your
yeah.
piece of property.
Right.
So people are sitting. So the number of listings, is that here true in Los Angeles County?
We've seen a 40% decrease this year, same time last year.
That's
Wow.
about what it is in Orange County, maybe even a little 45% in Orange County of listings even.
But the thing that's hurt us most here is there was a rule passed called the ULA. ULA is supposed to help the homeless. So anything that's 5 million or above, you pay an additional 4.5% tax on
Wow.
top of that. Beverly Hills not included in that, it's LA County.
Wow.
If it's 10 million or more, it's 5.5%. So
Extra.
Like example, the Altman brothers had a property, they were selling for 5.5. We offered 4.8, we opened escrow at 4.9. It didn't make sense to come in at 5.5 because at 5,225,000 would have been a tax,
Yeah.
incentive for
Is
the
that
city.
under the new mayor,
Wow.
Bass?
It wasn't, she was against it.
She was against
So was
it?
Caruso.
Okay,
But it was something that was kind of hidden behind homelessness because everybody
Okay.
wants to help homelessness,
Right.
but in the fine print, you kind of see the rule broken down, what it really is. I mean, there was another prop that didn't really help the homeless, but yeah, it's really hurt the high-end luxury market.
big time.
Yeah. big
Well,
time.
it's really, you're being penalized for your success.
Exactly.
It's not as bad. There is a homeless problem in Orange County, but nothing like I've seen up here. I mean,
Right.
Chan and Keith took me down to Venice one time. I've never seen anything like it.
Really?
But it's real though, because a lot of people during the pandemic lost their homes.
Right.
A lot of people lost their jobs. So you have families that are homeless.
Right.
So it's really not just, one of the things is you think homeless and you think it's somebody who's on drugs, who
Well,
doesn't
no,
want
look
to
at that,
work
not
and,
at all.
and is a loser. That's not
Yeah.
what's hitting
Look
our
at that,
market.
they're on the news right now. There's these people that have all of these campers on this one property, and they're trailers, and they're probably 15 or 20 of them.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
seeing
and
that on
they're
the
all
news.
stocked like next
Next to each other and paying a little minimum rent.
and the neighbors are
going
beside
crazy.
themselves because
Yes.
it's like a dump.
And you can't even find a small RV to buy because if you can't purchase a home that's $1 million, it's almost what it is as the average home in Orange County anyway.
1.2 or 3.
You get an RV or you get something that you can at least have your children have a place that's safer and have a roof over their head.
Well, we've been seeing a big exodus from LA to Orange County, particularly Newport.
Oh, okay.
The thing that's not fair about ULA is you're discriminating against the rich, like you said. They work really hard to get to a place to afford nice things. And why not, if you're gonna just tax the public as a whole to help the homeless, because it's a city problem, not a rich problem. So if you wanna help the
Right.
city, let's all help.
Right.
But let's
Right.
let that money be utilized to help them, but it's not. I had read something, they only raised 40 million, I'm probably totally off on this number, but only 40 million, they were supposed to raise 300 million.
So a fraction of what
Fraction what they were
right.
gonna get, fraction what they were gonna get. But it's being they're fighting it. There's a lawsuit to repeal it, to bring it, to get rid of it. So
And I even heard that the government was thinking of, because there's so many buildings, commercial buildings, that are right now empty almost, 40% occupancy, and about every 3 to 5 years, they roll over and have to rewrite the loan on the property, and now at 7%. So if
They're
the
going to
government,
be in big trouble.
big
right?
trouble.
If they have to refinance those loans or whatever, and they're coming up. I heard that too.
and they're talking about the government now saving those buildings and paying the banks. But if they're gonna do that, if that's government money, which is our money,
It's our money, exactly.
then why don't they convert some of these to like small apartments or something where we can get people
Yeah,
off the
housing.
street? You know,
Yeah.
housing of some sort. We've got to come up with some
But it's
some
more
better
than
solutions.
but it's more than just housing though, and I don't want to get on this homeless topic, but it's
Right.
like it's re-educating, helping them get jobs, placing them. You know, so not just giving them a home, and yes, it's
Right.
not all druggies, but there's also mental illness, getting them help. There's families that have lost their homes. It's looking at the problem as a whole.
It's what my grandfather always used to say: don't give somebody fish for dinner, teach them how to fish.
Exactly.
And I think that's the mentality that we have to have, and that's what we did in our first 8 videos. If you go back to Beat Foreclosure, we're trying to show you what's happening, because it is very confusing, all the paperwork and people with HUD and all that sort of thing. You need to know what the procedure is so that you can try to get some of your equity back out of your house. So you can go back and look at some of those particular videos that we did, which are, we hope, educational. We need to just find new ways. Of course, there are always going to be people who buy.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Especially here, especially in Beverly Hills, because you have, again, a lot of people from
All over the world.
every athlete you could think of has a place here in LA, in
Sure.
Beverly Hills, in LA, whether it's Hidden Hills, Beverly Hills, Brentwood. But it's the place to be. There's so much money in this city, it's insane how much money. But again, a lot of people have migrated down to Orange County. But there's still a lot of development going on. There's still a lot of great big homes. Like, I was driving through Beverly Hills the other day and up in Bel Air, and the development that's going on around is insane. Like massive homes. And there's another.
You took me through a year ago when we were hanging out.
That's
to
right.
One of those open houses. It was a $25 million
right.
house, but
That's right.
it's like the whole block. They're all $25 million homes. you know.
Unbelievable, really.
Yeah, the finale we filmed for Buying Beverly Hills was a $65 million house.
Wow.
So they're up there. They're done well though. They're done really well.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, well, for 60 million.
Yeah, right.
I'd
Yeah.
wanted to almost
Yeah.
have my own helicopter
Yeah,
pad
you
for
would-
that.
you should.
What's the
You should.
square footage on this $60 million
That
house?
was about, I believe, 12,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big house. Great views, great pool. And there's another one for $48 million off Benedict Canyon. It used to be Gene Simmons' house. They bought it and gutted it, and it's on a 2-acre lot. And it's one of the nicest houses I've seen. It's like a modern farmhouse. The architecture, the design, they've shipped stuff from Italy. I know the developer really well and the money people, and they really went all out. I'm trying to do a international party at this house. I haven't told them yet, but
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
do
yeah.
one there. But that one's listed with another firm. So
But people finding out that Gene Simmons used to live there, I mean, the history in itself.
Yeah.
It's like I love watching Mansion Global on Fox Business, and Katrina Campins, she went through Madonna's old house. It's like
Amazing.
right below the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, Lake Hollywood. Yeah,
Lake
Yep.
Hollywood, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great house.
Yes, it was Spanish style.
Yep. It was pink back when she had it. It was
Oh.
like a pinkish beige. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has groves and all kinds of things. So it's just an extraordinary time in the world, with our economy, with housing, with jobs, the whole sort of middle upper class, which I think was sort of the bread and butter of real estate and of our economy, has taken a terrible blow. And with inflation, just the cost of food and everything else. So I feel like things have kind of blown up, and it's like we're in the process of everything sort of falling back into place. Maybe not in the same sequence and order that it used to be. I think we have to expect the unexpected, and things are not going to be as predictable as they were. It's hard to know how to invest. It's still, in my opinion, my mother was Romanian and from a dirt poor family that was illiterate.
Right.
And there were 12 children.
Wow.
And her father always would touch the ground and say, this is safe. You know, you need to have some land. You need to try to buy a house, and, you know, they can't take that away from you. So that's, I think, in my genetics somehow, that I do really feel that there have to be new ways that you can protect your money, maybe new ways.
It still has to be one of the safest ways to where to put your money, though, too.
It is one of the best investments.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
It
think
really
so.
is.
I was
I
reading
think
something
so.
on the internet asking the other day about cryptocurrency, like if people here still believe in cryptocurrency. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, it's-
I wouldn't be putting my money into that.
No, you'd be much better off to buy a small 2-bedroom, 2-bath house
Yeah.
and rent it.
Exactly. Have them pay your mortgage. Going back to what you were saying earlier, that foreclosures or whatnot, I think that this is nothing like '08. Inflation is
Yeah.
high, yes.
Yeah.
But people's mortgage rates are so low that they have a lot of equity. And they don't need to sell.
Yes.
Because we've door knocked, we've done anything, and people always say, well, where am I going to go? Where
Right.
is during
What
the
can
pandemic.
how can I better myself?
Exactly.
You can't.
Like you were saying earlier, people would sell, upgrade, but we're in that place where people aren't upgrading. If you're leaving the state, that's one thing, but
And that's a great point, because that's our problem. I think people are leaving California. You
a
know,
lot
so
of people are coming too, though.
Yeah.
That's the big part. Is a lot of Californians, natives are
Have
moving.
had it.
Right.
Have had it, exactly.
They're leaving.
But people from all over, from Michigan, from New York, from even Northern California, are moving down to LA.
okay.
A lot
Well,
from
look at
all
the
over.
news and the weather.
Right.
I mean, the
how would you
last
like to be
couple
dealing
weeks,
with tornadoes and
Can't beat the weather.
flooding?
flooding.
You can't beat the
and,
weather. No,
and
right.
hurricanes and just, it's been amazing to me. Even in the Upper East Coast
Yeah.
in this country, they had the most horrible winter.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're having the most horrible summer. And here, I mean, what is it, 85 outside
Yeah.
today? It's
Right.
fabulous. You know?
Yeah.
It's still warm, but I would rather be here than, let's say, Florida, where, I mean, I love Florida, it's a great state.
It's a little
Some
humid.
bugs.
It's humid, and, you know, but I love Florida.
Reptiles.
You get out of the
Which I
shower
don't
and you're
like.
sweating.
Exactly.
you know.
Florida's a great state, but it's not LA. I mean, even though the California gets a little foggy, but here you have movie stars. You'll be driving and you'll run into, like, before I was at a yogurt place and Jason Alexander from Seinfeld was right there. I felt like I was at the
No
Seinfeld
kidding.
episode. I swear to God, I walked
Yeah.
in and stood next to him and started chatting with him, but that's LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, my older son had an old Camaro, and he was stopped at a stop sign, and a convertible Benz pulled up next to him, and he looked over, and it was Shaq, and he looked
Yeah.
at Chandler's car and goes,
Nice.
Yeah, he liked it. Yeah, that's right.
you know, so it is. It's an unusual place to live. I've been here since I was 5 years old, so you know, it's like it's home to me. But yes, it is all changing, and possibly changing more on the coasts
Yeah.
than it is maybe in the core central area of the country.
Yeah.
There
In the
are
Bible
people
Belt,
there
yeah.
though that have had to give up farmland. Commodity prices have come crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
We used to own a lot of property through my dad's family in South Dakota, and they're having a very hard time. So it's just an interesting change of times. I think the dust will sort of settle here a little bit, and people will be able to figure out new ways. As a matter of fact, we get calls from people saying, you know, they're not going to make a change, they're not going to try to upgrade because they're going to keep their loan, and then they have more people come into their house.
We touched on this on
They
the phone
split
a little
the
bit.
costs.
Yeah. What's your
That
take,
makes sense.
Wolf, on people renting versus buying now?
Yes, tell us about that.
That's funny. Shaq calls me Jeff Goldblum, by the way. I don't know why he always calls me.
Well, you do kind of look like him a little
Oh,
bit.
you're more handsome than he is. Give me a
Hey,
break.
Wolf.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story about
You
Shaq.
play the
Yeah,
piano like he does?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
I met Jeff Goldblum once, and I said, a lot of people say I look like you. He's like, oh, yeah, I can see that. The rental market right now, you know what's funny is a lot of landlords aren't getting the price that they come to market with. That's what I've been noticing. I, for example, have one in Silver Lake for $6,800. We rented it for $49.
Okay.
A house.
Okay.
You're getting a lot of people that would rather rent and see where the market's heading.
Okay,
Because a lot of
exactly.
people think the market's going to crash, but it's not.
It's not going to.
In my opinion, it's not going to
Right,
crash.
right.
You might have a standstill. You might have rates going up and down. Then we have election year next year too.
Right. And they don't want it to crash before the election.
Exactly.
They're gonna do anything and everything that doesn't happen.
But there's also, not to backtrack, there's also this wildlife ordinance that they're trying to pass as well. That there's
Okay.
been a big fight against. John Graham, my partner, he's kind of taken lead on that.
Okay.
What they're saying is if you own 2 acres of land and you have a 1,200 square foot house on that property, you can't build more than that. You can't.
Wow.
Because they're trying to preserve the wildlife, they're saying.
That's
but
left, yeah.
there hasn't been a study that shows that it's beneficial for the wildlife. So they're trying to impose this law or this rule where there isn't any study or any facts about it.
Wow.
So
So an acre has to be a zoo.
Well,
Out of your 2
exactly,
acres, yeah.
exactly.
I hear it, I understand it, but is it even practical? I mean, how can you, as you say, there's no proof.
There's no proof. I mean, if you study and say, endangered squirrels in this region are dying from all the
Right.
building, and listen, I'm an animal guy. I love animals, and they have the right to exist like we do. But and they're saying that you can't build basements, you can't go a certain level. Doing a basement and all that's not going to affect a gopher digging or anything. But there is no study that shows that building a house with a basement affects gopher living or squirrel living. Now, if there was a study that says this is damaging the ecosystem, this is damaging and killing millions of squirrels or gophers per year, then it's a different conversation.
Right.
But that study hasn't been done. So going back to renting is, with all of these different things happening with ULA, with rates being higher, with this wildlife ordinance, all these different things, I see more people renting are on the sideline to see what's going to happen.
But of course, then what it does to rents is just jack those really up too.
It jacks it up, but the funny thing is though, if it's overpriced, people won't rent it. People fight. Like I had these kids from USC, they pushed back and said, we're not paying
that.
We were at 68, we dropped to 59, they said, we'll offer 49.
So how long did the owner resist that? I mean, because they came in almost a couple grand lower.
He's an SC guy too.
But you can't go too many months being righteous,
Well, that's the thing.
because by the end of the
Because he
year,
wants
you
the
would have
tenant
lost
in there. He
more.
wants the revenue.
Exactly. He's a
Yeah.
smart guy.
Yeah.
He said, I'd rather have a tenant in there rather than waiting 2-3 months
Exactly.
to get a tenant in there. So it kind of equates and comes out to be the same.
Same
Because
thing
if
at
you're
the
trying
end
to
of the
get
year.
exactly, if you're trying to get $6,000 for the lease and you lose out on 3 months, then you might as well get these guys in because he wants a tenant.
Sure.
And they'll be good tenants. So sometimes I believe it's better to have a better tenant than more money. People that pay on time, people that take care of the place as if it's
Doesn't
their own.
beat it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the rental market, there isn't a lot of good rentals.
Right.
Like a guy that works with me, he's selling a house in Woodland Hills. The owner has it as Airbnb. He makes 16 grand a month on it.
Wow.
And he's hesitant to sell it because the next person who wants to buy it's going to do the same thing.
Sure.
Do Airbnb.
Yeah.
So that's income. Why sell it? Unless you're going to take it in 1031 into something else.
Yeah.
But the Airbnbs right now are great. Like I have a friend who's renting, and now she's renting Airbnb. She's an actress. Her place had mold in it, so she went and been doing Airbnb now. But to answer your question, rentals are kind of all over the place right now because there's nothing nice. It's all, I can't say the word, but it's all crap.
Yeah.
The nice things are really expensive.
But even in Orange County where we are, they just keep developing apartment complex after apartment complex.
That
They
are
even have one
condos
by
the main
Moms and
place.
Floral Park.
But the problem with that, the rooms are tiny.
Of course.
So little.
And then you
Yeah.
probably
it's so
have two
expensive.
families
Very expensive.
living in there in some of these places.
But the
you
rooms
know?
are tiny. Like these great new developments are great, but some of the rooms are like really, really small.
You can
Yeah.
put a single bed and maybe a little
Exactly.
chest of drawers. That's it.
Exactly.
But
The
if
room
they're
is just
getting, $3,500
to $4,500 a
a
month.
month on these places,
So that's why 2 families are coming
they're
in
coming
and sharing the
when they're
rent.
not supposed to be. But yeah.
Well, a funny story is this guy in my office, Stefan, really lovely guy. He just sold a house to the guy that won the $2 billion lotto for $25 million.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
It was on the
Edwin.
news. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's a Hispanic guy.
Yeah, he was a construction worker.
No
won about
kidding.
a $20 quick pick, and
Wow.
Stefan and Blair had the listing. It was at $30 million. He offered $25. Now his neighbors Ariana Grande and Jimmy Kimmel up behind the Chateau Marmont.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
But again, that's like an anomaly.
That's a fairy
it's like,
tale.
Yeah, it's like
That
but
actually was on ABC 7 News. Mark
Yes.
Brown was talking about it when he bought the place.
exactly. But we knew about it before. And we didn't, and you know what he uses is proof of funds.
Not the stub. Yeah, he showed
His
the ticket.
lotto ticket,
He showed the ticket.
and his ID.
Nice.
And one of the guys here didn't believe it,
Yeah.
and he was like, "This is fraud." So he got a letter from Wells Fargo said that we could get $40 million for this guy to buy the house.
Unreal.
But they didn't make us sign NDAs, which is kind of odd. That's why I could talk about it.
So
But,
I didn't hear if he probably took the cash on that.
He took the
assuming.
cash. He took home about $900 million, which for $20 and your return is $900. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not bad.
it's not bad at all. I mean, you can take that all day long.
I know.
But no, it was wild, and I heard he's a good guy. But again, he didn't choose to leave LA. He chose to stay in LA. He wasn't like, I'm gonna go to Santa Barbara or Laguna. He just chose to stay in LA. Maybe this is his hometown. But LA again attracts a lot of wealthy, a lot of international.
Mhm.
We've been seeing an uptick in a lot of Far East clients.
Okay.
One, because there's a lot of turmoil over there, so they come here for the education.
Mhm.
There's a lot of good schools: Harvard, Westlake, Buckley, Campbell Hall.
Yes.
Curtis, there's all these great schools and
Private schools.
private schools.
Private high schools.
Right.
Private high schools, preschool or elementary
Schools. Yeah.
Very competitive. So we get a lot of clients that are down in Orange County who will get their kids into the schools here and will buy a house here for the kids to go to school, but still keep their house
In
in
Orange.
Orange County.
Wow.
And they
Interesting.
prefer Newport.
Yeah.
Like I have one particular class, she prefers Newport. She came up here a couple of days ago to meet for lunch. 2-hour drive. She was so stressed when she got home. She said, I opened my windows in the fresh air and the ocean, and it's just different.
You guys
different
have
vibes.
an office down there now, right?
We do. It's close to the Oppenheimer.
I drove by there a couple weeks ago, just as I was putting the Javier's footage
Yeah,
together. As I drove down PCH, it's on the left-hand side. I drove right by it.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Oppenheim Group's a massive building.
It's close to Pelican Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's right. Okay.
it's right there.
Because we went to Pelican Hill for our 10-year, and I was like, oh, look, the agency's right here. But we have an agency in Cabo and Amsterdam. I think we're opening up in London.
You're all
we're
over the
everywhere.
place.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
in Cancun. We're in. I think we're also in the Bahamas. Maurizio and Billy built this company 12 years ago.
Right.
They started it. They broke off from Maurizio from Hilton Highland, and they came together and built something special.
Mhm.
We're a no asshole firm.
I love
Seriously,
that.
no
Yeah,
assholes.
that's like rule number one.
Number one, and everybody here collaborates. But perfect example, Maurizio knew a developer, and there's another guy at the office, Zach, who knew the developer. They both went in together. Why are they going to compete? They both went in together to get the listing.
Right.
So it's better to have a little bit of something than a whole lot of nothing, because you go in and compete, you both might lose out and go to somebody else. But if you join forces, it's a team effort, and that's what's good about here. It's all the doors are open for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's
Well, it becomes a win-win,
a win-win.
rather than somebody always has to lose so that you can win and make a little bit more.
But funny, not to keep going back to USC, but
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's,
we
we're
don't, we
all
don't
less
mind. We'll-
but a fraternity brother of ours, Matt Dugali, Dugali Oberfeld builds some amazing, beautiful homes. They built
Right.
a lot of homes in Beverly Park. His father had built Denzel's house. I had reached out to him like, hey, can I sell one of your houses? He's like, not while you're at Keller Williams. I'm like, damn. So he reached out to Maurizio. I was like, hey, Maurizio, because I knew Maurizio hung out at SC with all of us because all the Mexican Jewish guys were in Sigma Chi, and Maurizio's
Interesting.
Mexican Jewish. So he
Miguel's one of those guys.
Miguel,
right?
yeah. Is Miguel Solar? Is he Jewish?
I don't know if he is.
But he's a part of that.
Oh, he's a part of that,
He was.
okay.
I don't know if he's a part of that crew, but Andreas, he's a director. He's down in
Yeah.
Mexico.
Okay.
Daniel Lasman.
Right.
All these guys
Sure.
were great guys. Great, brought up well, everything. So Matt emails Maurizio. I was like, hey, why isn't Wolf at the agency? And Maurizio calls me, hey, Wolf, why aren't you at the agency? I'm like, I don't know.
That's a
Mo.
really good impression.
Yeah. So I came down and met with him, and Mo's
Mo's
a stud.
really cool.
He's a stud, man. He's
Yeah.
like I look up and respect. I look up to him and respect. He's a good guy.
Well, I told you I listened to his Ed Milet podcast
Yeah.
from a month ago, and it was an amazing, well worth looking up, guys,
Yes.
for an hour of your
Yeah.
time.
You'll really
a lot
learn
of
a
knowledge
lot.
dropped in that hour with those two guys.
But Maurizio is charming and smart, and he's just, that guy's fearless. You know,
Yeah.
you can't put anything in front of him, and that's good to have a leader like that.
I love his story about selling Gaga her house.
Oh, that was a good story.
Yeah.
That was just because he knew the market.
He knew the market.
He knew what was going on. He was there, randomly heard her talking, told her, hey, we have this, this, and this. And there's a couple of, they teach us to know the market.
Right.
Like if you said, I want to live over here, I was like, well, there's this house we just sold, there's one coming to market. And that's a good thing with us is we have a lot of coming soons and off markets.
Okay.
But we all collaborate together. We actually have a Tuesday meeting today where the whole office, you've been to the
I've been to
Tuesday
it,
meeting,
yeah.
And Billy Rose, he's one of the founders as well. He's just brilliant. He was an attorney before.
I heard him talk, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Sharp guy.
He's very sharp. That guy knows contracts and his business inside and out. He's an attorney. He helped broker a lot of deals in Hollywood. You know, I'm lucky to be here. Marita invited me. Then I met with John. I met with a couple of different people. There was one guy I knew from the Laker days that I didn't want to work with because we were buddies.
Yeah.
And then
Lauren's a sweetheart, too.
Lauren's amazing.
Yeah.
And I met with another guy named Ben, and Ben was great, but I wanted somebody like John. I met with John Graham, and he was very system and structure. And I went from my first year with him from doing 5 million to the next year doing 60 million in sales to
Right.
30, and then last year was a little slower, but this year I'm leading the team.
Nice.
You know.
Who's
So-
who's this Bond guy, that Bond Street or whatever? Who's that all
I'll
about?
give you 1 second and we'll move on from it. But
Oh, okay. All right.
we had merged with Bond Street.
Oh, you did?
And then we
Okay.
demerged. It just, you know, sometimes some relationships work, some don't. And we thought we had something great, and you know, it was amicable, and we were like, you know, let's, you know, it's like hooking up with your friend.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
like you and this girl have been friends forever, and you hook up, you're like, we were better being friends.
Right.
Right.
That's the only way I could describe it. They're good
Okay,
guys.
okay.
You know, it didn't work out. Everybody moved on.
Oh, okay.
That's all I could really say about it. There was
Alright.
no ill will, nothing. It was just.
Well, it's a different philosophy, a different approach to things, and sometimes you can't blend them.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
they're both teams, GRG, which is I'm on, Graham and Rosenfeld, and Bond Street, both very successful teams, both very good groups of people.
Okay.
Everybody got along, it's just different visions.
Yes,
And sometimes
exactly.
that doesn't work, and at least they realized it soon, and we kind of said, you know what? It
We're
didn't
heading
work,
a different
let's go
direction. Yeah.
They were smart enough, we as teams collectively were smart enough to know that, so, you know, better than being married for 2-3 years or 10 years and being stuck with alimony forever. Yeah, so, but it was no, again, but that's the culture here at the agency. It's like I said, no assholes. So
Yeah.
that's why we're able to do that and see it doesn't work and move on.
Love that.
So we're already running over our half hour, which just
So
flew
maybe no
by.
assholes and then
Yeah.
no alimony is.
That's no assholes or no alimony.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. We'll take you down to Laguna
So
Woods.
if you're, and this is plugging my boy here, if you're
Of
in the
course.
LA market and need any help at all, this guy, as I called him earlier, the Jesus of real estate, he's the savior up here.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's the man to reach out to. You can get a hold of him on his website here, on the agency's website.
Yeah, Wolf Amer at theagencyre.com. And I'm back-to-back All-Star in LA Magazine.
I
Last
saw
year and this
that.
year, and
I
they
saw
just
that.
nominated me again, so yeah.
like,
Yeah.
But that's being a part of a culture.
Okay, be honest. How long ago was the headshot?
The headshot 2 years ago.
He looks fantastic. What,
Thank
you're
you.
50, 51 now?
51. Yeah.
He's got better hair than I do, and
Yeah,
he's
I
got
still
me
got
by
hair.
like.
I still got hair.
And one of the things that we have said to you repeatedly is even if you call us and tell us your situation, if you're trying to buy, sell, you're in foreclosure, even if we don't end up being the right connection or don't have the answers, we know a lot of people.
Our network is
Our
huge.
networking is huge. It's so important to be at the right place with the right person who has the answers. And we're honest enough, we're going to say to you, we can't do it, but we have the people that we know. And this is the person in LA that you want to talk to. So that's one of the
Absolutely.
reasons we came up here.
And so, like I tell you guys, our page is blowing up. We're right around the 40,000 subscriber mark. So continue referring us to your family and friends. We love and appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell for all of our updates on the content that's coming out. And this has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
yeah,
it.
we love this guy.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
I'm gonna
much.
hug him. I'm gonna
We'll
hug
do it
him off.
again.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
do
do
it
it again.
I'm
again.
gonna hug him
Okay.
off camera.
Yeah, we'll go off
But
camera.
I'm expecting this to be one of our biggest videos because this guy's a celebrity by himself.
Thank you.
So anyway, God bless you guys, and it's been a lot of fun. We'll see you on the next one. This is Damon and Cynthia with Living in the OC. Wolf Amer, the Jesus of real estate. Let's blow this video up. So share it with all your friends. I'm telling you, we're going over the 6-figure count on this one. So, all right, thanks
Okay.
guys. It's been fun.
Bye.
Bye bye.